Hello and welcome to another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. I'm Wayne Highlander with Bone Adhesives.
I'm Rob Johnson with the Bona Training.
Rob, let's get right to it today. We don't have a lot of time because the
We got to
schedule.
get going here, so let's
All
get
right,
moving.
no
No
fooling
small
around.
talk. Let's
All right,
get it.
damn
Do
right.
this. Yeah.
Okay, I'm ready. Rob, would you bid a sand and finish job that has wall-to-wall carpet down and give them a definite price? Let's say it's a 40-year-old home. It's 3,000 square feet. It's wall-to-wall carpet. Home's in okay shape, whatever. Would you give them a definite number? Here's my price to sand and finish your floor.
Without pulling
Yeah,
some of the carpet?
yeah,
No. No.
exactly, exactly. And so, why would you do a job on a concrete slab without testing for moisture or getting to know something about that slab? I want to talk about slabs and moisture for just a little bit, and I'm going to preface this with two stories. One, when I was in the laborers union, I was, I was the farthest away from doing floors. I had no, that floors was not even on my radar screen yet. I was in the laborers union and we poured concrete, we placed concrete all the time. And this is a typical scenario. Concrete truck is coming. It's been raining for 3 days. Concrete truck is on the way. And we're getting ready. The finishers are waiting on us. The trucks are on the way. And we're just kind of doing last minute things to get ready. The plastic has been laid down, okay, the 6 mil poly, okay. Very common that we would pick up stakes, rebar stakes, and start poking holes in the plastic and let the water run out, okay, because we didn't want to walk in the slush, all the water was accumulated on the plastic. Now, it was nothing malicious about that. None of us that we were laborers. We're making our life easier. We have no idea what the ramifications of doing that. I would have never known to this day had I not get in the flooring industry. Okay, so we have now made it very easy for that water to make its way up through the slab. Okay, I mean it couldn't be a worse thing to do for a slab. Floor guy would never know that. He would never know that happened. Okay. Also, the other thing we would do on the job site is when the truck arrived at the plant, it may have put in the correct water to cement ratio. Okay. They do a slump test and whatever, but not by the time we got done with it, because inevitably somebody would jump up in the truck. There's always a water hose on the truck. And, we drop the chutes down. The concrete truck is there. And the mud, as we call it, starts coming down the chute. And it's slow. And we're just staring at it like it's taking forever to come down that chute. Now, nobody got time for that.
Yeah.
Someone would jump up in the truck, take the hose, start squirting water in the truck. You would hear an audible slurry change as the concrete mix was going around. And now, to send that concrete, baby, it's sliding. It's coming out of there real fast. We can vibrate it quicker. We shovel it quicker. Our job just got exponentially easier. Again, nothing about that was malicious. We were making our life easier. The poor
Can we stop for a second?
Yeah.
Did you just call it cement?
I don't know if I did or not.
You did.
Did I?
You said cement.
I don't remember.
So I guess you used to like to watch the Beverly Hillbillies.
We ain't got time. We ain't got time for small talk.
That's what they called their pool, Cement Pond.
Okay.
You're the only other person I ever heard say cement except for Jed and Jethro Bodine.
I don't even remember me saying that, but okay.
Yeah,
all right.
Cement truck. The cement.
Okay, the concrete truck, whatever. But look what we've done to that slab now. We've made it very porous concrete. We've put infinite water supplies for that water to come through that concrete. Okay, floor guy doesn't see any of it.
By spraying the water on there to making it easier to flow and everything, what does that do? Does that open it up? Make it more porous?
We've made the concrete much more porous and allows the water to migrate up through that concrete much easier. Okay.
Why didn't anybody ever tell you guys don't do that?
Your construction, we don't. Nobody cares. I mean, you know what I mean. I mean, in the scheme of things, you should see the crew that I worked with. I mean, this is a scary group of guys. We're union, and we had a hump. We had to go. There was no time for. I mean, it was the roughest crowd I've ever been around. So next thing, fast forward. I'm on a job one time, and this isn't related to concrete, but it's kind of the same thing. I was going to lay my floor in a couple weeks. It's been dropped off. It's acclimating. We stacked it and what have you. And just went by the job just to see if they were on schedule and everything. It's ready for us. When I go in there, in the living room, there's two tile saws running. Guys are cutting tile for the bathrooms and the kitchen counters. And there's water all over my floor. Had I not stopped by that day, because I had been doing tests along the way, and it's pretty good shape, everything's doing like it should. Had I not stopped by there that day and seen that water right there, well, I would have never known. We didn't have products like Roll Guard and R540 back in those days, which to me is man, to have something that protects up to 20% in the wood subfloor is, I think, just phenomenal. Okay, using those products. So let's go back to concrete slabs. If you look at all the sources of moisture that can come through a concrete slab, between the two of us, we have 65 years of doing floors or more, probably 80, closer to 80 years. Every bit close to 80 years, maybe even 90 years. How long have you been in the flooring business?
I've been doing floors for 49 years. Next year will be my 50th. I officially started getting paid in 1976.
Okay.
So next year will be 50 years.
I think.
And look at me. I still look like I'm in my 30s.
Yeah, of course.
Look at this.
So together we've done floors over 90 years. Okay.
Wow. That's crazy.
None of it. You can look at a slab and as much experience as you have, you can do slabs day in and day out, and you do not know anything about that slab by looking at it. You don't know how much moisture is in it. Doesn't matter how old the home is. You have no idea if they've added additives to the slab that can affect your drying. If there's a sealer on the slab, just by looking at it, you can't tell if there's, I mean, all the artificial, the broken pipes, the irrigation problem under it, if what kind of curing they did on that slab, which by the way, several different ways to cure slabs. Most of them aren't good for us. A lot of times they'll just pour running water on top of that slab constantly to keep it from drying out and cracking. Sometimes they'll put curing compounds on it. I used to do both of those. We used to wet them all day long. Just, hey, dummy, go out there and wet that slab. Go out there and wet the slab. So we would put curing compounds. Dummy. That's my father-in-law's only know me by two names, and I can't pronounce the other one. I can't see it without getting in trouble. So
my Uncle Fred used to call me Man Mountain Dean.
Man Mountain Dean?
Man Mountain Dean. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a hell of a name to put on somebody.
He said I look like some old time professional wrestler that was like a farm boy, Man Mountain Dean.
Oh, I see it.
And that was my nickname. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't a nice nickname. It was
No, well, it's better than Howdy Doody, which was they put on me, that's why I had to get. I got in a fight with a guy over that. Actually, twice. Okay, so spills, concrete batch water, curing water, irrigation, broken pipes, all capillary rise, slab, sub slab vapor, dew point. I mean, there's like 11 different things that could be on that slab that you have no idea. And that's scary to me, right? I mean, we came out with a Bona Quantum Flow adhesive that offers unlimited moisture protection. What I see sometimes that people will say, gosh, yeah, we love X adhesive and we use it all the time. And if you look at it, not a lot of moisture protection there. It might be fine on this job, this job, this job, this job. And then you get to that one where you need the horsepower and it's just not there. You look at the cost of flooring today. You can pass this cost on. I mean, gosh, I think our cost of adhesive has come down way cheaper than it ever has been before. With our different techniques and methods and what have you. So many different reasons why I won't get into them. But so I now look at slabs like this. I approach every slab like there's contaminants on it, and the moisture is too high, and it needs to prove me that it's not going to make my job fail. And I know it takes time to do moisture testing and what have you, or if you're not going to do moisture testing, certainly use an adhesive that has great moisture capabilities. So when I talk, because I see, you know, so many guys doing, I'm on Instagram and Facebook and all the time and what have you. And I see guys doing jobs on slabs and I think you cannot afford a failure. You can't afford it. So, and I think they said like the average cost of a redo on a slab, if you have to tear the slab out and redo it over, excuse me, it's like 7 times the initial cost of doing the job. So I think one of the main reasons, here's the reasons why for testing and whatever, I still think is even though we offer unlimited, I would say the same thing no matter what shirt I have on. Okay. No matter what manufacturer I work for, I will say this to the day I die. It makes sense to test. It's not a bad idea to test, right? That way you know what you're dealing with. And also you can charge for, justifying adding the moisture barriers and this, that, and the other moisture retarders onto the slab. So there's two great reasons for me to test. One is that it's peace of mind. I don't want to be laying in bed at night when it is a monsoon rain in Texas and it's been raining for 3 days straight. And we have a rep that works for us from Texas that came from a different world. And the concrete slabs down there, I don't know, I'm not offending anybody in Texas because man, it's atrocious to me. I'm not guys in the flooring industry. I'm talking about the guys who place concrete on slabs in homes. Now, you've got crazy rain seasons down there. I don't want to be laying in bed worrying about my $65,000 floor that it might be affected by the moisture. I don't want to do that to myself or my business. So I think it's so important that we take these things in consideration. The other reason I think it's important to test or use an adhesive that has the horsepower is because um, the other guys don't, right? So if another guy is 3 guys bidding the job, you're the homeowner, 2 guys just give you a number, whatever. The other guy comes in and does a test, does an RH test on the job and whatever. He's very methodical about it. He explains exactly why and whatever. Who do you think's going to get that job? That guy's going to get that job. Now I'm going to throw a monkey wrench into this whole thing.
Please do.
Okay.
Let's hear it.
The end all and be all right now in the concrete world for testing is the RH test. Okay. Most people kind of realize that the calcium chloride test, while it is it's a viable test, is that it's kind of more of an outdated test. It's kind of like an X-ray of the slab, right? You're just seeing what's going on in the very top of the slab, where an RH test is like an MRI of the slab, right? You're going down into 40% the depth of the slab, and you're getting more of a an understanding of really what's going on in that slab. Okay, I think if you get all the inspectors in the room, I think they're all going to agree on everything I just said. However, there's a guy now in the industry who's one of the most outspoken, and the guy has got more you know uh, he's very well known. He's got all kinds of credentials. Who says the RH test is absolute BS? It's
Wow.
yes. He just says it's absolute total BS. So it's interesting to me where he's coming from, but what I still think is this is the best technology we have in the industry right now
Who
that we
said
know.
that?
We know. I won't give the guy's name.
Give me
Uh,
his initials.
you don't care what his initials are. You don't know the guy. I promise you don't. Um,
Oh, I don't know people you know.
I,
I get it.
I,
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I'll bet you. I'll bet you $100 you don't know him. So if you want
I
me to give you,
believe you.
you take the bet.
Absolutely. I believe you.
He's more well known in the commercial world. That's why
So
I say that.
why is he so against this? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's all we talk about in the schools
So
is
we
the
talk
RH
about.
test. That's the way to go.
Yep. Yep.
What's he bashing holes in it for?
He says it is a completely wrong test, and he's got 100 different reasons why it doesn't work. Blah blah blah. But
Wow.
my thing is, it's the best test we have today, right? And that's the industry standard, and that's what the industry goes by. So that's what we have to go by, and I'd recommend that everybody would go by. So until we hear further, I think that's kind of that's where we're at right now. Um,
What about
but
what about the meter? I know there's a meter out there.
Yeah. So I think this is the meter to me is good for finding out, where it's high. Like if what I would do is I take the meter, go around different areas. I concentrate more on the outside walls and I find a high spot. I would, I would, do my RH test there. So I know there's other meters that come out since then. What's wrong with your eyes right now?
I told you I just put drops in them.
Okay. All right. But you want to do what they call a quantitative test, which is the RH test or the calcium chloride test that we have now. On the other test, the qualitative test, I've heard a few different things in my career. One of them that it smells dry. I've actually heard from a guy who's been doing floors. He tells me I can tell when it smells dry. I've heard that it looks dry, and I've heard that if it's old enough, it's dry. I've even had somebody tell me that he can always tell and didn't expound on that. But but those are the two tests that is recognized by the NWFA. So so I just thought it was important if even if you don't test and you're not going to do testing or what have you, I still think it's important to use a horsepower that the adhesive that has the moisture protection that you want for jobs like that. Like I said, we offer unlimited moisture protection with our Bona Quantum Flow. The other one, R851, goes up to 18 pounds and 95. But I'll say this. If you look at our adhesive also, right out of the pail, using our standard trowel at about 50 square feet per gallon, we give you 12 pounds and 85 right out of the pail. If people do their math and do their research and look around at that square footage right out of the pail to give you that much moisture protection, is very, very, very few and far between, if there's any, that will give you that same moisture protection. Okay. So it's a great
So
value.
let's jump back to what you just said, unlimited protection with flow. How do you achieve that?
Well, you want to use our standard trowel that we say you have to use, which is I take it back, not our standard trowel, but our trowel that gives you our that's about 30 square feet per gallon. You can achieve it that way, or you can use our R540 first, and then use our 1250 trowel.
Okay. So it's either the MVP trowel or
Yeah,
R540 and the 1250.
we got you two ways to get there. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And then above all, even when you're doing all that, the rule still applies that you gotta get the building ready for the flooring first. No matter what adhesive you're using, I'd say oh, these are not Bona rules. These are industry guidelines. You get the building ready first. Make sure the building is acclimated first. Then you bring the wood in and acclimate the wood. The two biggest reasons for failures on job sites when it comes to wood floors on slabs, it's either moisture related or it's the subfloor not being flat, right? And I think it was interesting. I think it was like 2018. The two of the biggest commercial flooring entities in our industry got together to talk about the two biggest challenges that they face. One of them was labor shortage that we all are, feeling, and the other one was moisture issues. So why in 2018 at the time, and you haven't seen a lot of changes since then, uh, with all the technology and everything, why is moisture their number one thing that they were concerned about? Right, the two biggest commercial companies out there. So again, for me, it's peace of mind. If I'm laying in bed and it's been raining and for three, and listen, I remember those days. I mean, even take the concrete out of there where we installed an 8-inch plank in a house, and I'm in California, and it's been raining for like 4 or 5 days straight. Or you suddenly get it gets freezing cold, and all of a sudden everybody kicks on their heaters real high. We're in a way we're like farmers, right? We're still so much affected by the relative humidity in the house and the those type of things. So I don't know. I think it's important to talk about just a reminder, and also we're coming into the winter season. What's going to happen? people are going to start getting calls that, the floors are moving, shrinking a little bit because the heaters come on, and you're going to get those. A lot of times, guys will pre-warn their customers, hey, just reminder, the heating season's coming up. A small amount of shrinkage is normal, and which I mean, you never mind. Um,
Easy, easy.
so I just think it's important to put as much information out there as you can to the consumers, so that we're working for. So the
I want
thing
to go
about
back to I want to go back to flow before you keep rolling here. The two ways to get the unlimited protection. One was the MVP trial, the other
Yep,
was R540 and the 1250. Is that R540 or roll guard?
or roll guard, yeah, yeah,
Okay. All
yeah,
right. So
yeah,
R540 or roll guard
yeah. And I'm
and
just
the 1250.
yes, and I'm
All right.
also going to talk about floor prep now for just a minute. It's been my experience, especially as a young contractor, when I didn't know any better, or it was left ambiguous, like who's going to do the subfloor prep. So I'm bidding the job, right? And it's I'm going in there, I'm looking at her, I'm looking at the plans. I go by their office, I'm looking at the plans, I'm doing my takeoffs. I go, all right, it's 3,800 square feet or whatever. And okay, so I bid to install. I bid it. I got the adhesive in the bid. I got the flooring in the bid. I've got the, whatever you think you normally put in the bid, and then if it's gonna be sand and finish or whatever. But then there's this little gray thing out there, is the subfloor prep. And early on in my career, did I ever get burned by not considering the subfloor? I assumed this guy was going to have the slab ready for me the way it should be. But I walk in there and the concrete was all over the place. And yeah, you can't lay it like this. I'm explaining to him, I got to level out and everything. He goes, well, hey, that's on you now. I mean, you're the floor guys. So I went, son of a gun, this is a
Mm.
problem. This can't happen again. So so the GC doesn't want to do it. He's moved on now in his mind. Oh, yeah, that's floor guy now. And then maybe the floor guy didn't charge for it. So it kind of gets done. If it gets done at all, it gets done in kind of a half-assed manner. You know what I mean? Because gosh, we can't spend a lot of time on this. We certainly didn't put the money in for it. So now we're going to lose money on all this part of the job. And so it's very important to put that in the contract, or consider that when the job's being done. Um, so I always think to myself, if they if they if they did crown molding like they did subfloor prep, how would the crown molding look? You know what I mean? And that was back years ago when we were doing floors, and it was not as important then as it is now. It's more important today. And the reason why it's more important today, because these floors are wider now, and
Wider
they're
flanks.
wider plank
Absolutely.
floors, and they don't
Everything is
bridge.
wide now.
Yeah, they don't bridge the undulations in the slab like a half by three did back in the day. They just kind of, it's out of whack, but it just kind of follows the contour of the slab. So you leave yourself to hollow spots and those type of issues, and way more than that it was a concern in the past.
Popping, cracking, noises.
Yeah, so it's very, very important that you consider that, if you got to do grinding, or if you got to do self leveling or what have you. There's a lot of money to be made. Is when guys get really good at subfloor prep, it's almost an art in itself. It's almost a whole different craft. Subfloor prep. Guys that lived in Florida, guys that live in Texas and California, where there's a lot of slab markets, New York, Jersey, um, become very good at doing subfloor prep. And if you don't do a lot of it, I think Ardex has a class on it, which I went to a couple times when I was a contractor. It was great for me to learn how to do subfloor prep. Some of these grinders out there, and when it comes to subfloor prep, you can do a simple test. The first simple test you should do is just drop a bead of water on the slab. If it doesn't wet out within a minute or so, if it stays beaded up, then there's probably a sealer on that slab, which you have to deal with. So all those things in the contract, I've sent out information about my contract before. We talked about it on one of the last shows. If you want a copy of my contract, email me at wayne.highlander@bona.com, HIGHLANDER, and I'll send it out to you. So there you go. I thought it was important that we talk about it, Rob. Um, so it's a short show. We don't have a lot of time. Both of us got to get going. But I thought the moisture in concrete, we can't see. You can't tell by looking at it. Same thing like we said, you would never bid a 3,000 square foot job with wall-to-wall carpet and give him a guy a definitive number. You don't know what's under there.
You got to take a
That-
look, right?
You
You
got
got
you
to take
gotta
a look.
you gotta walk that slab. My uncle used to say that he was so good at telling if the subfloor was flat that you develop what he calls a floor man's foot over time. As you're walking the floor, taking measurements, your feet are kind of feeling the slab to see if it's level or there's undulations or whatever. He said he was so good at it, he could tell if he stepped on a mosquito if it was circumcised or not. So I'm not that good, but I would need to put a level on it or string line or something or a
So,
laser.
so that's two shows in a row where we've talked about circumcision.
That doesn't make me weird. Okay, I gotta
No.
go.
Not at all. No.
All right.
you're good.
Hey, Rob, I appreciate it. This has been another episode of On the Floor with Wayne and Rob. Please stay tuned for another episode.